What's the minimum amount you need invested in SCHD to never work again? I ran the numbers across 3 different lifestyles, and the results were honestly surprising. Most people miscalculate this because they rely on the traditional 4% rule, which doesn't apply the same way to dividend investing. Stay with me, because I'm going to show the exact portfolio sizes required and why your income can grow faster than inflation without selling a single share. Here's how we're breaking this down. We'll look at 3 real-world lifestyle scenarios. First, a comfortable lifestyle in a low-cost state at around $3,500 per month. Second, a more comfortable lifestyle requiring $5,500 per month. And third, a luxury retirement lifestyle at $8,500 per month. For each scenario, I'll show the minimum SCHD investment needed, the taxes you'd realistically pay, and the interesting part, how the dividend income could double or even triple over the next decade while your principal remains untouched. Quick disclaimer before we begin. This is educational content, not financial advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. These examples are hypothetical and based on current SCHD data. Everyone's financial situation is different, so always do your own research and consult with a qualified professional before making investment decisions. All right, let's get into it. Why SCHD changes the retirement equation. Here's why SCHD can completely change how people think about retirement. The traditional 4% rule assumes you withdraw about 4% of your portfolio each year by selling shares. That method can work, but it has a drawback. You're gradually reducing your principal. With SCHD, the strategy is different. You're living entirely off dividends without selling shares. Your principal stays invested. Right now, SCHD yields about 3.63%, which is slightly below 4%. But here's the important detail. SCHD has increased its dividend every year since 2011, with an average growth rate around 12.8% annually. Consider the difference. Inflation historically averages about 3%, while SCHD's dividend growth has been several times higher. That means instead of watching your purchasing power slowly decline in retirement, your income has the potential to grow much faster than your expenses. Over a decade, your monthly income could potentially double while the original investment remains untouched. That's not just sustaining retirement, it's potentially growing wealth while retired. Your income increases over time instead of shrinking, and the full principal can eventually be passed to heirs as part of generational wealth. Scenario 1. Basic lifestyle. Let's start with a basic but comfortable lifestyle in a lower-cost state such as Tennessee or Arkansas. You need $42,000 per year after taxes, which equals about $3,500 per month. That budget could reasonably cover a paid-off modest home or affordable rent, one reliable vehicle, groceries, utilities, healthcare, internet, and insurance. Some entertainment and travel, plus a small buffer for unexpected costs. It's not extravagant, but it provides a comfortable and relatively stress-free lifestyle. Here's an important tax advantage. Qualified dividends, what SCHD distributes, are taxed at much lower rates than ordinary income. For a single filer, roughly the first $47,000 in qualified dividends can fall into the 0% federal tax bracket. For married couples, the threshold is around $94,000. So if you need $42,000 after taxes, you may also only need $42,000 before taxes, since that amount could fall within the 0% bracket. Now the math. With SCHD yielding about 3.63%, generating $42,000 annually requires approximately $42,000 divided by 0.0363 is approximately $1.16 million. So roughly $1.16 million invested in SCHD could produce about $3,500 per month in dividends, potentially tax-free depending on your tax situation. And here's where the growth comes in. If dividends continue growing near historical levels, that $3,500 monthly income could gradually increase each year. Over time, that means your income may rise significantly, while inflation increases your expenses at a much slower pace. Instead of falling behind, your retirement income could steadily expand, creating extra flexibility to reinvest, increase your lifestyle, donate, or simply enjoy a larger financial cushion. Scenario 2. Comfortable lifestyle. Now let's look at Scenario 2. A comfortable lifestyle in a mid-cost state like North Carolina or Texas. In this case, you want about $66,000 per year, which equals roughly $5,500 per month. What does that lifestyle include? A nice home in a good neighborhood, 2 dependable vehicles, dining out a couple of times each week, 1 or 2 meaningful vacations every year, spending on hobbies, solid healthcare coverage, and the ability to live without constantly worrying about money. For taxes, a married couple would likely need about $71,000 before tax to net roughly $66,000 after tax. Using SCHD's current yield of 3.63%, the math looks like this. $71,000 divided by 0.0363 is approximately $1.96 million. So, about $1.96 million invested in SCHD could generate around $5,500 per month in dividend income. And once again, dividend growth plays a major role. If dividends continue growing near historical levels, that $5,500 monthly income could grow substantially over time, while inflation raises expenses much more slowly. Instead of tightening your budget during retirement, your income may gradually expand each year. Scenario 3. Luxury lifestyle. Now let's consider a luxury retirement. In this scenario, you're living in a high-end home, driving luxury vehicles, traveling internationally, and covering premium healthcare and lifestyle expenses. You want about $102,000 per year, or $8,500 per month. Because some income may fall outside the 0% dividend tax bracket, you might need roughly $107,000 before taxes to net that amount. Using the same yield, $107,000 divided by 0.0363 is approximately $2.95 million. So about $2.95 million invested in SCHD could generate roughly $8,500 per month in dividend income. With dividend growth over time, that income may increase significantly in later years, potentially allowing for even greater financial flexibility or generosity with family and charitable giving. 4 important factors can change these projections, and understanding them is crucial. First, healthcare before age 65. If you plan to retire early, you'll likely need private health insurance until Medicare begins. A reasonable estimate is about $2,000 per month. Over 10 years, that could require roughly $660,000 in additional SCHD investments to fund those expenses. In practical terms, a basic retirement target of about $1.16 million could increase to roughly $1.82 million if you plan to retire at age 55. Second, state taxes. 9 U.S. states have no income tax, including Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Nevada, Washington, Wyoming, Alaska, South Dakota, and New Hampshire. Living in one of these states can significantly increase your after-tax income. However, higher tax states like California, around 9%, or New York, around 7%, may require a larger portfolio, potentially adding around $200,000 to your target. Third, inflation protection. Historically, SCHD's dividend growth, about 12.8% annually, has far exceeded inflation, which averages roughly 3%. This means your income could grow much faster than your living costs over time. Fourth, market downturn protection. Dividend strategies rely on income instead of selling shares, meaning temporary price drops matter less while dividends continue flowing. Quick recap. Here are the 3 example portfolio sizes. Basic lifestyle, about $1.16 million, producing roughly $3,500 per month. Comfortable lifestyle, about $1.96 million, producing roughly $5,500 per month. Luxury lifestyle, about $2.95 million, producing roughly $8,500 per month. If you retire before Medicare or live in a high-tax state, you may need a larger portfolio to maintain the same lifestyle. The important takeaway is that dividend-focused portfolios aim to generate income while keeping the underlying investment intact. So which scenario are you working toward? Basic, comfortable, or luxury? Drop a comment and share your situation.